is Nick and Mark and Brennan Puglisi. So I don't know if there's any other Charles E. Nichols descendants or not. I'm sorry if I've missed you, but I think that's it. Oh, sorry, Dan. I got Richard. I missed Dan. I didn't see you behind the camera. Sorry. Dan Cook as well, Richard's wife. Okay.
Wow. You're not going to quiz us now, are you?
No.
That comes later. Thank you, Tom.
Wow, very nice.
There are, my branch of the family is the Thomas Guy Nichols. My sister Louise Green will introduce the friends and relatives related to that group.
Our mother was Margaret Nichols. And there are three of us here. My good brother Bill, where's Bill? My other brother, and myself, and we have two sisters. And then my mother had brothers, Thomas Nichols, and his son, Tom Nichols, is over there. Thomas G. She had a brother, Thomas O. Orman, and his son is here, Thomas O. And then we had our Uncle Hewitt Nichols, and his son, Ricky, is here. Ricky's son gave us a wonderful prayer, and his other son, John, is with us as well today. And we have good friends, Deborah, who came with that part of the Nichols family, not my part, their part, no, I'm kidding. With Deborah. And then we have my son, George, who's just relocated back here from Albuquerque, New Mexico. And that's it. But it's so nice to have you all here. Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Joe Nichols hadn't had a chance to talk yet. Joe, who's here from your bunch of renegades?
Are you sure you're a Nichols? I don't know. We have quite a lot of you, and I'm very pleased and honored to have them here. I'll take the platform for an hour or so if you want to rest. Colleen, can you excuse my back, okay? I guess I'm the oldest of the generation. My brother Bob, there's Bob and his wife Jean. His two children are Michael and Colleen, and their grandchildren are sitting over there. And Patty is his daughter over there. And my second brother who helped you with your name tags is Edward. Someone sitting in his chair, so there he is back there.
Sorry, Joe, time's up.
Yay! And then about my own children, my wife Kathy is here, and we have three sons, two of whom are here with our grandchildren and two of our great-grandchildren. First of all is my oldest son Donald, back there holding his grandson Sam. And if I might just take the moment, he is, unless you consider Turner, he is the only living descendant named after Samuel Nichols. And today, if all things, it's his birthday. He's 3 years old today. His wife is Liz holding the camera, and behind Liz, not his wife. Mother. His son is Sam holding Michael, and Liz in front of him. And Donald's other daughter is Patty, is Trish, standing right there next to my youngest son, Jack. You're going to have to excuse me, folks. It's been a long day. I drove up from Ocean City. Stacy, raise your hand. That's Jack's wife. And Megan, my youngest grandchild, and I love her. Hi, Megan. And did I miss anybody? I hope not. That's the descendants of Walter Nichols, Dr. Jeremiah Walter, and my father was Joseph Howard Sr. And that's the Nichols, the Walter Nichols side. Okay. Stick around.
Yeah, because I never met Laura. Is she here?
Yes, she did. Yeah. Laura Unsworth.
Right here.
There she is. Yeah. She is a descendant of Dr. Jerry. Had a brother. Help me here. Brother or a son?
Maybe she knows.
I believe it was a son.
Is Arthur your...
Vernon Arthur Nichols is my great-grandfather. Our great-grandfather.
Okay. Oh, that's your daughter?
My
no,
sister.
I'm Julie.
Sister.
Oh, If you go to the old St. Louis church, where the cemetery is, right next to the cemetery, right next to the church, is one of the original tombstones, and it says J. Arthur Nichols. And it took me a long time to find out who it was, but it was stood for Jeremiah R.A. Nichols, who, as some of you know, the Nichols go by their middle names. They don't go by their given first name in this family. And she is a descendant of, and my memory slips me, I don't know if it's a brother or a son of Dr. Jerry, but I think it's his son.
I believe it's his son.
I believe it is his son. So Dr. Jeremiah had six children, and one of which was her
Vernon Arthur
grandfather,
Nichols.
I think.
Yep.
And your grandmother was, or your mother Doris?
Grandmother Doris
Doris
Nichols.
And I didn't meet Laura until many years later when her father did a research on the internet and found and put us together.
Yeah.
And I kind of don't know too much about your background and history, but I was so happy to find you because who's this J. Arthur buried in St. Louis? So I appreciate you being available.
It worked very well.
Yeah.
Laura, you introduced
This is my sister, Julie Powers. And her grandmother was Doris Nichols as well.
Okay. Where do you live?
David, Montgomery County.
Oh, okay. Okay. Fine.
Thank you.
Can everybody hear us all right? I know some of you are on the corners. Tim?
He was my grandfather, as you were.
Yes.
On the Walter side.
Right, okay.
Not to be left off.
No, I'm
Nichols,
sorry.
Nichols don't like no.
I knew some of you children might be a little bored with all these talks and one thing and another, but we want to make sure that we didn't slight anybody. Have we missed anyone?
who have we missed?
Robert Branch.
Yes.
Oh, yes,
Yes.
yes.
Will you handle that?
Samuel had 10 children, 5 male adults who married. One of those was Robert. And Robert's family used to own a couple of acres here, about 25 or 30 acres, then moved to Laurel. And they're very large and a prominent family in Laurel, Maryland. There is a Judge Nichols in Prince George's County, Mussey they call him, he's a descendant of Robert. Well, we have some people descendant of Robert here today. This is Sharon Natalie, who is the daughter of Phoebe Cuck. Now, if any of you have been around for a long time in genealogy, she predates me, her mother. And Natalie is a freelance photographer and a very, very nice person. And you brought with you your...
Well, I brought my
Why don't you introduce her?
husband, and well, what I wanted to say was actually talk about my mother. Phoebe Cuck did like 40 years worth of genealogy on the Nichols family.
Yeah.
And
Mainly in photography.
yeah, she copied a lot of old family photographs. So she celebrated her 95th birthday last month.
Wow.
So I will inherit all of this stuff eventually, and we have digitized it a lot. So if anybody would like a CD of anything, you can give me your contact information, and I will send you a CD. Because her life's wish is to not just, you know, if she did 40 years of research, it doesn't all want to fall on me. She wants to be able to spread it so that everybody can enjoy it. And then I just met Mike, who is also, and his lovely wife, who are from that Nichols clan that you just talked about in Laurel, who is also my branch, the Robert branch. And I'm assuming there's no other Robert branch people here. So, yes, that's about it.
That's about it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Brandon.
Hey, Joe.
If you want to talk
Help
Mike,
you, Benjamin.
come on up, Mike.
Well, I just wanted to mention for the Laurel branch, if you're familiar with St. Mary's Catholic Church in Laurel, that's where I know my parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents, there's a lot of there in Laurel. The Route 216 bridge that crosses the Patuxent River is dedicated to St. Philip Nichols.
There's a plaque on the bridge. Find it.
A lot of the buildings, some of the older buildings built in Laurel were built in that branch.
And there was a Nichols in that branch who was a sheriff of Laurel at one time,
That's
late
right.
1800s.
Would you like to tell a funny story on your dad?
Absolutely.
About 5-10 years ago, your dad called me and he said he had a relative that wanted to get into the DAR, No, not the DAR, the Confederate Daughters of America.
That's my sister. Yeah.
Okay, well, I was able to tell them how to do it, and they were so happy that they got in, you'd think they would have given me a new car or something. They were so excited. Ladies and gentlemen, Samuel had...
one thing on that, Joe. So my sister did join the Daughters of American Revolution, so all of the research going back to the Nichols fighting in the American Revolution, and she's put that together as a package. So for any men that want to be men of the American Revolution, or women that want to be daughters of the Revolution, sons or daughters, we have that information available.
Okay, now, just to go back, Tommy, you need a seat? You okay?
I'm fine.
Okay, just to go back, Samuel had 5 adult males who married. We've talked about a few. We've got to mention Benjamin. Benjamin lived longer than anyone else, dying at the age of 81, and is buried and lived here in Highland. And I'd like to introduce your chauffeur this morning, Hardy Pickett, who will talk to you about descendants that are here from Benjamin. Hardy?
Benjamin had a number of children, and there are a number of us from Albert, who was his son. And Albert's daughter was Gladys, and she married a Townsend. And we have Ralph Townsend and his wife Joan. And we had Barbara Ann Small, who married a Small. And we have Craig Small, her grandson. And then we had Ruth, who was married in O'Sullivan. We have Sandy and her husband Joe. And my mother was Catherine, and my wife June. And I'm Hardy. I'm one of those with the middle name.
Yeah. You're blessed. You're cursed with that problem.
I have that Hardy, but we dropped the E.
Are there any other family groups or individuals who haven't been recognized at all here? All right, well then we'll move into...
No, I missed. My grandfather, Walter Nichols, had a daughter named Irene. Some of you refer her to as Reenie, and she married Frank Curtis. Her daughter Shirley is here from St. Inigo's down in St. Mary's County on the western shore of, down on the Chesapeake Bay. Beautiful area. And thank you for coming from so far of a distance. I'm going to, with the boss's permission,
Well, the next item on our agenda is a discussion about this guy, Samuel A. Nichols, and